Mask off. Mask off. Mask off. Mask off. Mask off. Mask off. You've been tuned in to Mask Off, where conversation will rule the nation on face-to-face basis when we blast off. It's real on the asphalt, on the turf of the court. Yeah, we here for the sport, so take your mask off so I can hear your ass talk. Let me hear you explain. Hold the thoughts on your brain. Is your ass smart? Spit facts and real talk. I need that shit from the street that make you think real deep and take a long walk. This podcast is hella lit with my man J.D. Fence and Skizzo Blizzo.
What it do, family? Welcome back. I know it's been a minute, man. Like, people going through their trials and tribs, man. Doing what we got to do to make a living out here, man. But again, it's Mask Uncovered Podcast back live again. You got the one and only host, J Defense, all platforms. Mask Uncovered on all platforms, but JAYDFENCE, J Defense on all platforms. And, unfortunately, my man Skizzo couldn't be here today. He's going through a little something with the eyeball test, but we'll leave that alone. So, special guests in the house, man. I'm, proud to have these two young gentlemen with me. And I'll let them introduce themselves, man, starting to my right.
Reece1.
And my name is Rich G from OP.
Ooh, excuse me. So here we go. Now, tonight, I know y'all be looking for all kind of topics because we talk about everything, but these are my sports guys, man. Like, this is definitely one of my OGs I grew up with, man, who knows everything about sports, anything you want to name, baseball, hockey, football, basketball. And then this is my peer right here, man, like one of the best basketball players, you ever laid eyes on, played with, seen, and the shooting. Man, listen, I tried to teach him how to. It didn't work. So anyway, again, man. So tonight, man, we just gonna keep it lighthearted, man. Just wanted to put some product out here, man. Let y'all see how few people are ill think, and we're gonna play with the NBA tonight, man. So starting off, we're gonna go with the NBA. We're gonna get into the postseason in a few, but right now we got to start off with the regular season. Everybody enjoys the games. One thing that I always realize is that while we're watching the regular season, because it's 82 games, is like you typically get bored. Like you're kind of waiting for the playoffs, especially if your team is solid or you think you got a chance of winning the championship. You're hoping that the players play up to par. You're hoping that your best players don't get injured. So we're gonna, start off with the regular season awards, and then we're going to get our opinions on each one. So I'll start off with, we're going to keep it simple. We'll start off with the most improved player this year in the regular season was Tyrese Maxey out of the Philadelphia 76ers. And then we're going to say our opinion on if we think, it was the great pick, a bad pick, or why we feel that way. So I'll let Reece1 start off with, do you think Tyrese Maxey should have been the most improved player?
In my opinion, no. I think the NBA was all over the place with rewarding people these awards this year. Tyrese Maxey increased his point per game average by 5 points, and I think Kobe White deserved the honor this year. He kind of increased his point total by 10 points. And we kind of see Tyrese Maxey's career going in the direction we thought it would go into. He's been great all season. He was great at the end of last season in the playoffs, and Kobe White's kind of like coming into his own. Chicago's not a great team, but this man did his thing this year, and I think they gave it to the wrong person.
I kind of agree with my buddy Reece with Kobe White. I mean, Tyrese Maxey, you could see him ascending because once James Harden left, that was more ball movement for him. He became the point guard. Kobe White, to me, was definitely deserving of most improved player. When you do the stats and crunch the numbers, I would have given it to Kobe White also.
But, okay, so just to throw this out there, you look at how Embiid won the MVP last year, and then Embiid goes down with this injury, misses 2 months, and you're looking at the Sixers as falling out. Like they were even thinking, okay, just sit Embiid down for the rest of the year. Why risk him? Because you're going to be in the play-in if you even win as many games when he comes back. And Tyrese held the fort down. Like, he was putting up 30-plus point games.
He definitely did, but I feel from the beginning of the season he was showing who he was as far as having the 30-point games, 40-point games. From the get-go, you could see the improvement, and he took on more of a scoring role once James Harden was gone. I mean, there were times they were probably looking for the scoring from Tobias Harris, but that's a subject for another day. Mr. $245 million never made an All-Star game.
Well, who else was expected to help carry the Sixers team other than Tyrese Maxey after Joel Embiid? They really didn't have anyone else. Tobias, this little 13 to 16 unimpactful points per game, really didn't cut it for me. And I know Chicago wasn't a good team, but no one expected Kobe White to go from 9.7 points per game to about 19 and a half per game. And we just didn't see this coming. And you can see Tyrese Maxey's career kind of shaping into a young budding star as he was going through his season. And whether Embiid got hurt or not, and he was holding the fort down, despite Tobias's lack of production, you kind of knew Tyrese was going to be a budding star.
So, totally agree. But when you live up to those expectations, right? Like, so you have somebody coming into the season, and I'm not knocking Kobe White because, like, who's seen that jump like that? Like, from single digits to double digits and almost averaging 20 points a game. But expected versus unexpected. So when you live up to the hype, okay, the ball's going to be in your hand, and then you continue to improve on that and actually kind of surpass those expectations. Like you kind of carried that team to more wins than that was expected. And again, it's no knock to Kobe White because now you're looking at a team that was supposed to be around the play-in type of scenarios, which they still ended up being in. Do you look at that as losing a certain player like Embiid's caliber and then to still be able to carry that team? Do you think that's what got Tyrese Maxey the most improved player?
I think personally Tyrese Maxey was gonna average what he averaged even when Embiid was there because the shots was there and they needed him to play him and Embiid to basically play in and out basketball with those two. So I don't think Embiid being there or not being there was gonna have a direct impact on Maxey's point output, going up 5 points a game. So, like I said, I agree with my man here, Reese, that I would have gave it to Kobe White. I saw a dramatic increase in his game that I didn't see coming, And probably you can make an argument and say his game increased because you didn't have Zach LaVine to take shots too.
Right.
So
or Lonzo Ball.
But he hasn't been around for a couple of years, so we're not even going to talk about him. But Zach LaVine, who was probably, 23, 24 point a game guy.
Yeah.
So Kobe White did take over some of the scoring. I mean, it's a debatable subject on most improved player. But it's definitely an argument. But Maxey, when in the end, he's probably deserving. But Kobe White, it's definitely an argument there.
No, I agree too. I think Kobe White kind of was on. I'm sorry that I interrupt.
No, I was just going to say though, like I said, when you look at both those guys' careers, you kind of see the trajectory of Tyrese Maxey being. He's already a better player than Kobe White, but we saw this. We saw this come. We see this coming, and no one saw this with Kobe White, even without Zach LaVine. Like Zach LaVine didn't play a lot of games last year, so for him to average 9 points last year with Zach LaVine being minimal on the court, Kobe this year stepped his game up and helped the Bulls become a playing team.
Yeah,
Once again.
I know. We're talking about being a play-in team. That becomes a big thing now.
Right.
A play-in team, you know.
All right, so we ain't gonna beat that up too much. All right, so we're gonna move on now. The rookie of the year was Victor Wembanyama. He got over Chet Holmgren. Do you feel? Let me ask it a different way, because I think everybody kind of feels Victor. Well, I don't want to say that if y'all don't agree. Do y'all agree that Victor should have won?
I agree. Victor was the hands-down rookie of the year. There was an argument for Chet because he was on a team that won 57, 58 games. So you can make an argument he was on a team and he probably helped OKC make that next big jump. So that's an argument within itself. But I think Victor probably won between the height and he did have the stats to go with it.
For me, and this is not to take anything away from Chet Holmgren, because there's no denying the impact he had on OKC season. But just for me, I do not agree with, and this goes back to Ben Simmons
I'm with you. Missing a year. That's
yeah,
like where
and
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin
That's a solid one, Reece. I like that.
That's why
winning Rookie of the Year when they was already receiving NBA checks, whether they played or not. So I really don't consider those guys rookies. You got drafted, you didn't play.
That's a very good take.
How can you hold that against?
Rookie, yeah.
Exactly. I don't know how you can hold that against guys that are actually being picked as rookies and playing their season, and then you're holding them up having them go up against somebody who's been receiving NBA checks. Now I just don't think you're a rookie
Traveling
anymore.
with the team, seeing
Right,
the practice
doing
like,
exactly.
out.
Although you didn't play, but I think Chet was deserving of it. I mean, he was in the conversation,
Right.
and there was 10th place last year. Won 40 games, they won 57 games this year. So there's no denying his impact on the team, but I think Victor deserved it, and he was the true rookie this year.
Like the 27-year-old Japanese player that come over here and get Rookie of the Year in Major League Baseball.
Right. Yeah.
Ichiro.
Right. We don't want to jump to that sport.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the Coach of the Year. They gave it to OKC, Mark Daigneault. How do y'all feel? Do you think that he was the best coach this year?
Yeah, he probably was well deserving of it.
I mean, they are the number one team in the West anyway, but what
Yeah.
about the number one team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics? How do you feel about
Well, I think they are.
Zula not getting Coach of the Year?
They were expected to be where they were. I mean, let's face it, they were already a top 4 title contender, so it's hard to push them any further than they were this year as far as their expectations. So I think the Oklahoma City coach was well deserving of Coach of the Year. They did make a dramatic jump. The Celtics didn't make. They won 64 games from 56 last year. So they were still in the championship conversation the last 3 years. So OKC made a big jump into that conversation.
I mean, for OKC to be 40 and 42 last year to 57 and 25 this year, it's a 17 game improvement. It's hard not to make Mark Daigneault the Coach of the Year. Like Rich said, the Celtics was expected to be a contender this year. No one expected the number 10 seed from last year to be the number 1 seed in the West this year. And there's just no denying the jump that they made to put themselves in the position to be the number 1 overall seed in the West. The West is, to me, far more superior than the East. And when you look at the Celtics record, they lost 4 games at home this year, and there was 3 of them were to West Coast teams. But the West Coast is, to me, is a little far more superior than the East. And with them making that jump in the West, he's much more deserving than Joe Mazzulla for head coach of the year.
And Chris Finch was Minnesota's coach. He was second, and then Jamal Mosley, the Orlando Magic. What about them? They wasn't expected to even be where they were.
I thought that was a strong choice also for coach of the year. I mean, I would even throw the New York Knicks coach. They finished second seed in the East, Tom Thibodeau.
Right.
I would take him over the Celtics. Like I said, the Celtics was in the conversation for top 4 teams for championship contenders. When you come into the season as a favorite to win the championship, I don't see you getting coach of the year.
For me, there weren't enough. Well, as far as the Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau being mentioned for coach of the year, there was way too many injuries in the East. I don't think they would have jumped Philly if Embiid didn't get hurt.
Exactly.
I don't think they would have been better than
Giannis,
Milwaukee if Giannis didn't get hurt.
Good point.
But Minnesota's coach,
The Cavs had some injuries.
right? They did. But Minnesota's coach, he should have been highly mentioned as far as coach of the year, if not second to OKC's coach. Denver, we kind of expected Denver to be who they were.
Right.
They're the defending champs. And as we're seeing in the playoffs, Minnesota's handling them candidly.
Not tonight though, but either way. All right, so the last of the big awards. Obviously, there's a lot of regular season awards out there. Y'all could go look at them up. Hustle of the year and clutch player of the year and so forth. But we're gonna knock it off with the MVP. MVP this year for the 3rd year. I was gonna say consecutive, but he actually missed it last year. What have you with Embiid getting it? But the Joker, SG was second, and Luka was 3rd. Do you like that? Do you feel like Joker deserved it?
We've seen this already from the Joker. Not knocking the Joker, his game. I love his game. He produces. He's probably the best player in the league, arguably. But for SG to carry this team, they're the youngest team in the NBA. They made a 17-game jump from 10th place to 1st place. And how do you deny or overlook that fact when Denver was kind of expected to be in this position already? No one expected OKC to be where they are right now, to have the #1 record in the West. And he's been consistent all year. He's played a lot of games. He doesn't do the load management thing, and he's been killing. Like, let's just say what it is. He's been killing all year. He's averaging 30 a game for the season.
30-point games, best 51% from the field for a guard. Unheard of most of the time. 30-point games.
What got me more out of that was his field goal percentage.
Yes.
As a guard. Like,
from a guard,
so
51%.
We on a shitty team that's, a bunch of young guns. Somebody got to kind of take the round, right? Like, so I'm not knocking. I'm not saying that he didn't do it, but like what really got me was like, okay, he didn't shoot 35 times and only made 10 shots per game type of thing. Like, he was efficient.
Right.
Efficient.
As a guard. The more I watched him, the better he looked to me.
And look at where they finished with minimal veteran leadership on that team. That's the youngest team in the league.
Right.
And he carried that team. Now, there were pieces like Chet Holmgren and other little guys on their team
Luke Dog,
that
Jay
contributed
Williams.
to the season, of course.
Yeah.
But he is the main player on that team. There's no question about his impact of where they are right now and why he should have probably been named the MVP?
Me personally, I think it's one of those things where sometimes the NBA makes you wait for your turn. And because he's so young, I think that's the situation. Wait for your turn, but it shouldn't be that way. To me, he was definitely the MVP, but it's one of those things. Wait for your turn.
I think personally, I had Joker winning it all season. I think that he is probably the best player in the NBA today. And what gets overlooked is when you're that great and you continue to do great things, it tends to be overlooked. Like you're talking about a center that's almost averaging a triple double, right? Like so he had 9 assists, like 9.5 or something like that. Almost missed averaging a triple double as a center, but also like continuously making his team better. Like you see, they lost, depth off the bench last year, like Jeff Green, Brown from Boston actually too. But yeah, and still they didn't miss a beat, right? Like so they were still right there for the number 1 seed and only lost it to a tiebreaker. So I just think that Shea, as nice as he is, what have you, not taking anything from, like if you take Shea off that team, I think one of those other guys would have put up some numbers, right? Like not like him. I'm not comparing the rest of them to him, but like if you take Joker off of that Denver team, I don't see how they would survive. I think they're a play-in team
Really?
at best. Yeah, man.
You don't think they would still be a mid 40 win team?
Not without Joker.
Yeah, he makes them go. Everything runs through him. You're probably right about that.
Okay, so then he should have won 4 in a row then,
He
because
should have.
because okay, so what did Joel Embiid average more than him? Points. He still almost averaged a triple double last year. They won. They actually won the finals. So with that argument, he should have won it 4 years in a row.
I had him winning it last year. Like I thought they donated one to Embiid personally.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from Embiid.
Yeah,
I think Embiid's a
right.
monster.
But your criteria of what you just said about the reason why you think he was deserving this year, he did the same thing last year.
Totally agree.
And the Sixers didn't even make it to the conference finals. So, like, I don't know why he got overlooked last year, because I thought he was going to win it last year also.
I did too. But like how Rich was saying, I think that they have you wait a turn, right? Like, so Embiid was so-called in the runnings. Well, he was in the runnings, not so-called. He was in the top 3 for the last 5 years. And it was like, okay, you continue to put in work. When are you going to get over the hump? Okay, you look good this year. Let's give it to you. I mean, he was dropping his 50 points. I'm not saying that Embiid isn't a talented player. He didn't play at an MVP level. But I still believe that Joker, this should be 4 in a row. Like, I mean, I really think that Joker's like, okay, I don't need that. If y'all want to give it to him, give it to him. Because I'm going to show you, I'm going to get MVP of the finals. I'm going to win the championship. And it shows, like, you got to make your team better if you want to win it all.
And this is why I believe that they should just wait till the season's over.
Yeah.
Because, like, to give a guy who didn't make the conference finals and to shun the Joker when he won the championship.
Right.
He probably had a better season last year than this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't win the MVP, but you give it to him this year. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I've always questioned the awards after the season but they don't take the playoffs into account in most sports. It's all regular season stuff involved with it, But Reese is definitely right. A guy that doesn't even make the conference finals got the MVP award last year, and that attitude was he's got to get one,
Yeah.
And he kind of. He kind of spoke out on it a few times, so they was like, okay, we're going to give him one,
It's kind of like he campaigned for it.
Right.
Exactly. He campaigned for it.
Yeah, they donated him one. Now, off cuff, like I know this ain't something we had jotted down. How do y'all feel about the number 1 team in the NBA, not just in the East or the West, getting smoked for all awards, right? Like, so you have the Boston Celtics, the number one team in the NBA, and they're not top three in anything. Well, we did win Executive of the Year, so we got to give that. So, I almost messed that up by saying we got smoked. But so Brad Stevens did win Executive of the Year, but the players like Tatum was 6 in MVP voting. We ain't have no 6 man of the year votes. We ain't have like so. Do you think that it's just our sheer talent? It's just expectations? Like we just
Well, if we had Derek White coming off the bench, he probably would have been sixth man of the year. But it's kind of tough with the Celtics. They came into the season as favorites. I mean, Tatum didn't have an MVP year. The coach, once again, we can't give him coach of the year because their expectations was already so high. They won another 6 or 7 games. There's really wasn't much more for the Celtics to do in the regular season this year, but get the number 1 seed. And for me, it's championship or bust for them this season. If they don't get to the finals and win a championship, to me, it's the season's lost because that's what they expected to do with the offseason moves. I mean, their general manager did get Executive of the Year because people feel that he put together a championship team.
Well, for Tatum to finish top 6 in MVP voting, and I know he was first team All NBA last year. How do you finish top 6 in MVP voting and not even make first, second, or third team? This is why I feel like the NBA was all over the place with giving out awards this year. And I know they came out with the rule you need to play at least 65 games. He played 65 games.
right.
But I just don't understand how you're top 6 in MVP voting and you don't make that's 15 spots. You don't make first, second, or third team.
Right.
With the number 1 team in the league, the best record in the league, I don't know.
Did they do the first, second, and third team already?
All teams coming out. No.
They haven't done that.
Oh, they haven't done it?
No.
Oh, I thought they did it already. I'm sorry. I thought they
No,
it's
he'll
already been
definitely.
established.
He'll be make first thing. He better. If not, y'all see the second podcast. Stay tuned.
I thought they already came out with that.
No.
But I know he finished top 6 in the MVP voting, and he kind of waned in the second half of the season. And I don't know if it was due to me, I don't feel like he sacrificed anything.
Me personally, I think it was because the Celtics had such a huge lead in the standings, so they were able to take their foot off the pedal a little, and I think Tatum did also. So I think that's probably what kind of knocked him down in MVP voting.
But I totally disagree with you about Tatum not sacrifice. I think Tatum sacrificed a hell of a lot this year. Like, I watched every single game, and I can count 50,000 plays that, not actually 50,000, but like he's passing the ball up. I'm like, nah, this is my favorite play. I want to see this kid go out there and score 50. He got all these primetime games, especially the second half of the season, and he's going out there getting me 20, 25, 8 and 8, like solid games, but that's not an MVP. That's not the best player in the NBA. So I think that he was passing the ball up a lot. Like, I think last year when he got hurt, that first offensive play of the game, we seen how the Celtics faltered against the Heat. Like, we had nothing. Like, nobody else had confidence. Nobody else could do shit. Like, it just felt like Tatum was everything to us. Now, I feel a little different this year. Like, everybody has a little bit more confidence. We have a better surrounding cast that feel like they can make some shots, at least carry him. Like, if you need to carry him one game.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that Tatum consciously made this decision that somebody was in his ear. Like, you see how much we depended on you and how much the team depended on you. So this year, let's make sure everybody's involved. Let's make sure that everybody feels a part of the team. And his numbers he went from 30 points a game to 26 points a game.
Well, JD, you're definitely right about that. When Tatum is on top of his game, the Celtics, I believe is the best team in the league.
Unbeatable.
Unbeatable when he's going good, when he's on top of his game. Go ahead, Reese.
For me, I can't.
Hell no. No, go ahead.
No, I can't agree with him sacrificing. I don't think passing up shots because 2 and 3 people's on you is sacrificing. It's something you have to do. He really doesn't make anyone better on the team. Just be honest here. Like he's not making Kristaps Porzingis better. He's passing the ball when he have to. When he doesn't have to pass the ball,
He doesn't.
He doesn't. And
I disagree.
okay, that's fine. And when I'm watching him play, it's everything has to be pretty. Like the step backs and all this, the 20-foot fadeaways when you got a 6'2" Garland on you for a game winner. And the fact that every time the Celtics are down at the end of the game, he feel like he has to take the shot. That's not sacrificing to me. I'm sorry. And it's every time. It's no one else on the Celtics take the last shot of the game except Jason Tatum.
You're so right.
No, Jaylen Brown had a few misses, but I agree. They put the ball in his hands, and
even when he's having a bad game.
And he never gets to the basket. He takes a 20-foot fadeaway
at 6'9".
He never tries to go to the basket and get to the line or anything. We're down 1 point, and he'll dribble the clock out on numerous occasions. He has a lot of. The Celtics have a lot of low IQ stars on their team.
Yes.
And him nor Jaylen Brown, and it's not just Tatum's fault, but I don't think either one of them really makes anyone else on the team better. They out there just taking shots. You see the stagnant play. It's either a 3 or an ISO. No one's getting backdoor cuts. No one's doing anything.
Now,
it's just a stand around game when you watch the Celtics.
Let me throw this at you. Okay, so if I'm Jason Tatum, I'm getting double and triple team, right? So just that sheer idea of him being on the court, Pritchard, Hauser, White, they're wide open, right? Like, so I'm not saying that every pass he makes is always off of that, but these guys are getting open shots. These guys are better NBA players just because Tatum's on the court. That has to be accounted for something.
That doesn't make them better because somebody's getting triple teamed. I mean, like, you have to create. He's not creating for these guys. He's just getting triple teamed because who he is. He's not out there creating shots for these dudes. He's not coming down trying to get to the basket knowing if he drives to the hoop, the defense is going to collapse and he's kicking it out. He doesn't do those things.
He's doing. See, that's why I disagree.
He's posting up at the free throw line. He's getting triple teamed. He's bringing the ball. First of all, he's getting a rebound, and then he's dribbling up the court. Now, you're getting doubled and tripled as you're dribbling up the court. So somebody's going to be open.
I agree sometimes. Those are some plays.
That's
but
most
also
plays.
See that Tatum is creating. Tatum is going down, getting to the cup. There's 2 or 3 people coming, and he's kicking it out for a wide open 3. He's definitely kicking that ball out.
That's common sense basketball.
But again, so like now, it's either he's doing it or he's not. He's not creating shots. Just by him making basketball moves. And I'm not saying he doesn't do it enough for me. He does it enough for our team because that's why we're the number 1 team in the NBA. If you look at everybody's game plan, as soon as Tatum starts to dribble, it's 2 people coming through. And he's going to the cup and he's kicking it back out for wide open shots. Why do you think Pritchard, Hauser, White, like, look at some of the shots these guys are making.
JD, don't you think the Celtics have a window? Tatum 26, Brown 27. They've been in the playoffs since they've been in the league.
Correct the moon, though.
And usually young guys don't win championships. They're at that age now. They have to produce a championship in the next few years. OKC, Minnesota, you got young teams. Orlando, even Cleveland is young. Yeah. These teams are coming. And let's be honest, San Antonio, Greg Popovich have a generational player. That's gonna be a destination for free agents. These teams are coming. The Celtics have got to get at least one championship out this core. You know, as a Boston sports fan, give me one championship.
I think they're going back to
You
back.
know, Paul Pierce wasn't the Paul Pierce we know, Hall of Famer, until he was able to give us that one, and he beat Kobe. He went to head
Right.
with Kobe Bryant and won.
And took LeBron James out
And
on the way
and you
there.
know what? Beat LeBron twice. And you could say what you want about Paul Pierce, the crazy stuff that he says now about he's better than Dwayne Wade. The guy
Which
won
he is.
the guy won a championship. The guy beat LeBron twice. He beat Kobe. He beat generational talents though on his way to a championship. Jason Tatum has got to produce a championship. If he wants to be considered a great Celtic, only the great Celtics we remember here as
Right.
with championships.
No, I totally excuse me. I totally agree, but I definitely think that we're gonna win back to back. I think we're gonna win probably 3 out of the next 5. I think that we have that. I think that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are gonna be able to pull it together. I really do, man. I think that we haven't seen what we look for and what we expect, right? Like, is that dog, right? Like, so some part of us be like, okay, we need to see like that Kobe Bryant and some type of players that we have, and we don't have that. But like, will this lukewarm NBA type allow for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown to go ahead and get at some point? Either they're gonna step up and become dogs and really go ahead on and take this away, because I don't think we should have lost one game to the Heat. They shot phenomenal from 3-point. All right, so you lose a game, somebody shot their career back.
Yeah.
Now that game we lost to the Cavaliers the other night, that sucked. Like I think we took a night off for some reason. They
Yes.
didn't like they went
But
phenomenal.
that's the common trait of the Celtics. You blow a team out in the playoffs, you come back the next night, you think the team's just gonna roll over. And that's been a common trait of them in the playoffs. It's been like that for years. If you watch them, it's always been like that. And in this generation of Celtics players, that is. JD, let me ask you, do you think this coach is capable of winning a championship?
Gotta go.
I don't think this coach is capable.
Gotta go.
We need help from somewhere else. I think our talent on the court is great enough to win us a championship. There's something missing, and I think it's coming from our offensive plays. First of all, we should be running a lot more. Fuck all of this slowing the ball up and swinging it, letting one person go isolation. I hate that idea. So is that the head coach? Like, he has a mentality, it seems like, of our players, like a Tatum and a Brown. They're so like relaxed with it. Like, okay, yo, we're nice. We just gonna go ahead and win. Instead of, yo, we nice. Let's go ahead and bust their ass. We don't have that coach and we don't have that player. So is it that we need our players to become that, or do we need a coach that's going to instill their will on our team? Marcus Smart did that for us.
We lost that with Ime Udoka.
Facts.
We have no identity as a team. They stand around, like I said, it's ISO or a 3.
Yeah.
The last, I don't know how many years, well, just put it like this. In the last 30 games in the playoffs, they're 15-15. So what home court advantage did we establish? We have no home court advantage. They went 37-4 as at home this year. They played 6 home games in the playoffs and lost 2 of those. So they already lost half the games that they played in 41 at home. They lost in 6.
Right.
So, like, I really don't have no
Something's
confidence in these Celtics going forward. Like, they're shooting 43s a game. You're not going to win a championship shooting 43s a game. Your superstars don't get to the line at
Golden
least
State
10
did.
times. We don't have a Steph Curry.
Yeah.
The superstars don't get to the...
Or Klay Thompson.
The superstars don't
Don't
on
bring
our
up that
team
bum ass.
do not get to the line enough. Like, Tatum got to the line 11 times last night. He shot 11 free throws.
9 of 11.
But those was that was out of necessity because they was losing by so much. So he felt like I need to go to the hoop. But when they're winning, these dudes don't get to the line. They just keep hoisting up threes.
Hoisting up threes.
Yeah.
This is a jump shot after jump shot after jump shot. Everybody's getting like, just think about it. They had no Jimmy Butler, no Terry Rozier. Those scrubs on the Heat were getting layups. They're just coming down the lane getting layups. Yesterday in the Cleveland game, they were just coming down getting layups on us. Devin Mitchell had 23 points in the second half. Not saying he's not capable.
Right.
But
you know he can put up.
they were getting easy looks. Mobley was just dunking on dudes. Like, it was everything in the paint. They had 60 points in the paint. And the Heat was killing us in the paint as well. They shot bad from three. And the game they beat us, they made a lot of threes. But at the same time, even when the Celtics won games in the playoffs, the Heat was coming down the lane getting layups on us. They don't establish, they have no identity. And they're not tough defensively. They're not. I'm not saying they're not a good defensive team.
Yeah, we're not.
They're not tough defensively.
So what do you need to see? Them knocking people down? Do you need to see them
establish
makes
some
them
type
tough?
of presence? No one should just be coming down the lane and getting layups, especially no-name dudes.
So you need to see them knocking people down. Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So
That-
what
I
is
need
a tough
to
identity?
see a little more aggression, even on offense. Tatum, Jaylen Brown, go to the hoop, get an offensive foul at times. Let people know you're coming. I'm coming to this lane and I'm trying to get a bucket.
Did you?
Like, it's not just a 20-foot jump shot, a 20-foot fadeaway. And like I said, when we're just jacking up threes, even when we got leads, we're jacking up threes, and we'll go up 20-something points when they're hitting. But they keep jacking them, and all of a sudden, we're up 6.
Did you guys watch the way Aaron Nesmith was guarding Jalen Brunson tonight? That, to me, that's defense. I haven't seen any Celtics players guard anyone like that last night
disagree.
against
I
Cleveland.
think Drew Holiday's been getting in people's
Well,
ass.
well, Drew Holiday will guard. Well, yeah,
I think
Drew.
D. White too.
Yeah, you know, I think
I think Jaylen Brown. I think
we shoot a lot of threes, but honestly, we don't have what I call pure shooters. We shoot a lot of threes for a team that don't have pure shooters. We have a lot of streaky shooters. When I say pure shooters, I'm talking Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. Hauser's a pure shooter, but he's not going to get a lot of shots. He's not going to get 15 shots in a game with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. When I say pure shooters, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, what's the forward there for?
see Klay. When you bring up Klay, man, that's another person, man. Like
You can't look at Klay for this year.
No, bump
last
Klay
year.
this year. No.
But I just
ain't
said-
never
We know
been-
his history.
my history with Klay has always been
When
he's been fortunate to have played in that Golden State system and to play with a Steph Curry. Like, I think that you could replace Sam Hauser with Klay.
But you know what, though? That goes back to identity.
Speak
goes
on
back
it.
to
Talk
identity.
me. Speak
So,
on it. Break it down for me.
Their identity was jacking up shots,
Yeah.
3-pointers.
Yeah.
And even if you can say, if you don't feel like Klay was a pure shooter, we know Steph was. Right?
Facts.
So now, Steph being the most dangerous player on that team, they're paying attention. They're overplaying Steph. They're making sure Steph is not getting these threes off.
exactly.
Now,
Draymond Green.
when you got the Celtics, we don't have a Steph Curry.
Facts.
So now, Tatum shoots threes, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Brown shoots threes,
Enough of them.
enough of them, not a lot of them, but he shoots enough of them.
Yeah.
And
D. White.
right,
Drew
and
Holiday.
and then when they're not hitting,
Right.
it's a different ball game for the Celtics. But you know what they do though? They keep jacking. Yeah. No one goes to the line. I'd never seen the Celtics stretch their 12 to 15 point lead off. Let me get to the line and make some free throws and turn that 15 to 17. They just keep jacking. When they get a lead, they keep jacking threes because that's how they got the lead. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, a team's back in the game because we stopped missing.
Yeah.
Then all of a
I
sudden,
agree.
we're up 6-7 points, and then now the game gets tight.
Totally agree.
So I just wish they did a little more as far as going to the basket, because we got capable players of doing that. Derek White, Tatum, Brown. We got guys that can get to the
can
line.
Post up too. Drew
Right,
Holiday
Drew
can
Holiday.
post up.
But
Left hand, right hand.
But you know what though? They got him so accustomed of running to the corner. Right.
Number 1 3-point shooter from the corners too this year.
And you got Tatum and Brown trying to get a rebound. They bringing the ball up. Kristaps Porzingis, he's a 7-3. He's jacking threes. It's just a three fest in Boston. Like,
Yeah.
They need to, and we know Kristaps can score in the paint. We know we feel Tatum should get to the hoop more.
Fact.
And we know Brown gets to the hoop more than Tatum. He tries to get to the hoop more than Tatum. But we settle too much.
I totally agree, right? But also I think that we're so much harder on our Celtics than we probably should be. So, I mean, nothing we've said has been wrong, right? So, I totally agree with it. But, we're not the number one team. Like, we don't have these players. Like, these players are not this solid, right? Like, so all of this is not happening by sheer will, right? Like, so we're making enough threes in enough games to win, right? So, if
No. It was 8 for 35 last night. We're not making enough
we're the
threes.
number one team in the NBA.
We shot the most threes in the NBA.
And what did that
Did you
get
know
us?
that?
Yeah, yep. And
We're-
made the
we're
most
playing in
threes
the
in the
East.
NBA.
You like their
We're
brand?
playing in the
JD,
East.
do you like their brand of basketball?
I do not. That's why I said that. If you listen to what I said, I think that as Celtic fans, I think that we're
very
over
critical.
evaluating
Okay.
them, very critical of them. But also, what I'm trying to ask y'all to do is just take a step back and look at just take a step back and look at this. What we have been doing has been working, right? So we're the number one. It's not like we scraping and scrapping, right? Like, so we have these all-star players. We have the only $300 million player in the NBA, and Jaylen Brown, in case y'all didn't know. And
Jason Tatum soon to follow.
And soon to follow, and a few others after that. But Jason Tatum next year will have that same thing. But, so, we're not the number one team in the broken out East. We're not the 4th seed, right? Like, we have the best overall record in the NBA. We'll have home court throughout the playoffs. So, whatever we've been doing have been working. When we lose a game, we beat ourselves up. If we was up 2-0, we'd be sitting up here talking about something.
Well,
Hey,
Jay-
listen, the Celtics is doing their thing, what have you. We wouldn't be so critical. So all I'm saying is, as much as I said that everything you guys have laid down and said, because you guys watch the games just like I do, it hasn't been wrong. All I'm saying is look at the other side of it. Look at where we are, right? So where we are today is because of the same thing that
style
lost
that we
us
play.
those couple
The
of
style
games.
that we
We
play.
lost 4 games at home throughout the regular season. Like you said, we lost 2 already in 6 games. But whatever we've been doing has worked thus far, and let's continue to give it a chance. Like, I still think that we're going to win the championship. Will it be the way that I want us
You think the
to win?
Celtics going to win the championship this year?
Facts.
Oh,
Oh,
nah.
hands down.
No
mark
way.
it down. We can put
No way.
we can put the trading places on it
No
right
way.
now.
We can do that.
We do-
No
all right.
way.
Dollar
No
right
way
now.
in hell.
It's on.
JD,
No
do you
way.
think this team, the way they play when they face adversity in close games, you think they can win a game with the system? They can win close games with the system?
What's crazy, right, is I look at this team, and they kind of remind me of like a Drake, right? And we ain't gonna get into that old battle thing. Excuse me. So, I swear it looks like we know we're so nice. We're gonna come into. We're supposed to sweep. All right, we're supposed to beat this team by 25. We beating teams
We're
by
not
25.
supposed to beat no team by 25.
Let me say.
Go ahead.
So I'm thinking that we're supposed to beat every team. Our starting 5, like our team, we're supposed to beat every team by 25. And if we win by 5, if we lose by 10, if we win by 5 or win by 10, more than less, even if we lose, we're nuts. So we're like, oh man, this is effed up. Like, yo, why the hell did this? So I really think that once we get punched in the mouth, the same thing, I think that we're going to win the next 3 games against Cleveland. We're going to be sitting home relaxing. Then we're going to do the same thing next series. Hopefully, because what I was already saying when we lost to Miami in game 2, I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and get them out of here, which we did. I like, now we're going to go ahead and sweep Cleveland. And Cleveland's missing Jared Allen. So I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a sweep. We lose game 2. So here we go, back against the wall, so to speak, because we should have swept them. Guess what we're about to do? Win the next 3. So when we win the next 3, I want to do another podcast with you guys, because y'all going to say, all right, yeah, well, they was hitting the threes. You're going to have an excuse for why we did.
Scares me, JD?
What's that?
We haven't won in Cleveland. Do you know exactly how many years, Reese?
No.
We haven't won in Cleveland in about 5 years, I think. It's been a while. I forgot the exact.
Okay.
That's what scares me.
But that changes tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is my thing. You're saying that, okay, we lost to Miami, then we came back. We're not playing Cleveland without their heart and soul. We played Miami without their heart and soul, which is Jimmy Butler.
Facts.
So, and another thing, do you think playing this brand of basketball that the Celtics are playing, that if they were a West Coast team, that they would have the number 1 record playing this way?
Yes.
Jacking all these threes, not playing no defense.
Well, we're number 2 in defense, Reece,
The 4 games they lost at home, 3 was from West Coast teams. You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, now with that being said,
put that phone down, man. Niece is gonna be home tomorrow, man.
No, I was trying to find out the last time the Celtics won in Cleveland.
Well, do your thing.
Yeah.
So, I got these dumb phones. I'm sorry, I was being dumb.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't think the Celtics that have the number 1 record in the West playing this 3-point shooting and ISO ball in the West. You can say the Celtics was number 2. Okay, just put it like this. After the Celtics, it's probably, I'm not sure, but Minnesota's number 1 in defense. Celtics were number 2. I'm figuring that the West was 3, 4, and 5 after that.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know what it is.
Right, I don't know either.
Jetty, I like your confidence in the Celtics. I have confidence they have the talent to win. They do have the talent to win. I agree with Reese. At times, JD, they don't play smart basketball. The talent is there. They definitely is the most talented starting 5 in the NBA. It's the IQ. JD, you must have played against some high IQ basketball players in your lifetime.
And with some.
Played against me.
And you played with some.
I was saying, and then with some. I played against them and with some. So, yeah, and my man Kev G, like, taught me everything I know about basketball, how to move and everything, man.
Yeah.
Like, and so, I agree. But I think what's missing, man, is that everything y'all knew about Jason Tatum, how can you lose that after 50 games? After
I got confidence in Jason. I got confidence in Jason. He's come up big in the playoffs.
Man,
the 50-point game against the Bucks in game 7.
When you needed game 6 in Philly, when you needed game 6 in Milwaukee, and then you brought it back home, game 7. So we're talking about how soon we forget, right? So I know that this is the microwave society. I don't expect that from my OGs, but this microwave society, okay, so like now Ant-Man's the next best thing. Like, they're always trying to find the next best thing, right?
Yeah.
And we can talk about Ant a little later, which we will do in a few if y'all are still up. But real talk, like, yo, let's not forget who Jason Tatum is. Let's not forget what he can actually do. Like, so what I think is that he played a regular season with these Celtics, adding Porzingis, adding Drew, and sacrificing, and then once the NBA playoffs started, okay, I'm going to be able to turn it on. And that switch ain't just that easy to turn on. You got to be a well-seasoned, a different type of mentality individual to just be able to go ahead on and start getting me 40 points a game. Now, I think things is going to change. I think that Tatum's going to win the Finals MVP. I think he's probably going to average 40 points a game in the Finals.
Wow.
And I think everything's about to turn around, man. Like, I just believe that much that Tatum is that type of player. He has it all. There's nothing you could do to stop him. That's just my point of view. Go ahead on. What you got going on? Put that dirty
I don't have
old fold away.
I don't have
You
as
do
much
now.
confidence in Tatum as you do. Like when I think about the games he had in Jersey when he scored 50, or Brooklyn, or the Philly game when he scored 40, whatever he did, he put up some points.
Milwaukee, Philly, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep. In the
All,
playoffs.
all those was when his jump shot was hitting.
Yeah,
When that jump shot's
he
not
has to hit
hitting,
his jump shot.
what's going to happen?
That's the thing, JD. When
What's
his
gonna
jump shot's
happen?
not falling, for some reason he keeps shooting instead of get aggressive and drive to the hoop.
But
Y'all go
he
look
hasn't
back.
showed me nothing. He hasn't showed me like, okay, if I miss, like, just for instance, if I'm playing ball, and we all know that I've been a shooter growing up.
Still a shooter.
If I miss 4 or 5 in a row, guess what?
Keep shooting.
No, I'm gonna go to the basket and try to find my rhythm at the
See
line.
the ball go through the hoop.
Yes, I did. But this dude just keeps shooting. He don't try to get to the line or nothing. He just keeps shooting. So, like those games when he had those big games in Game 6, Game 7, and all that, those were great. But there were jump shots that were falling, and then when we see the adversity, and I'm just calling his not making his jump shots adversity, he doesn't change his game up. He just keeps shooting.
The best thing I could say about Tatum going forward, JD, is in order for the Celtics to win the championship, Tatum has to be the best player on the floor.
I agree. Totally
He's
agree.
got to
Yeah, I
be the
do
best
too.
player on the floor. If he's not the best player on the floor, we will not win the championship.
Not a chance in hell.
He's got to be the best player.
Can he be? Has he been the best player on the floor in the playoffs?
Yes, there
He
have
has
been
been.
times.
Plenty of times.
Yes.
Plenty.
So it's not like he's 40. He's not LeBron, and we don't know if he's gonna have the
Yeah.
gas in the tank and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So all I'm saying is, if you've seen this in the past, like your past dictates your future, right? Like so, or that's how you could present how he possibly can be, right? Like so, when you're a college prospect, we think you're gonna do this in the pro. So now this dude's been a pro 7 years. He's been in at least the second round of the playoffs.
Since he's
And
been
even
in the
made it-
league. He's
since
made
he's
the
been in the league.
playoffs every year since
So-
he's been in the league. That's why I feel like he's seasoned now. He should know what it takes.
So now all of a sudden we lost that after a few games. Like now we think like
JD, you know what pissed me off most about Tatum?
what's that?
Seeing
He let
regression.
Andrew Wiggins stop him in the playoffs. He should have been
Yeah,
going
he
right
did.
through Andrew Wiggins.
That was his worst.
He let
That
Andrew
was the worst
Wiggins
I've
stop
seen.
him. You know? And Jaylen Brown, as tough as he can be sometimes, he let Draymond Green get in his head. That's what cost us that championship against Golden State. Though when the Golden State realized you put Andrew Wiggins on Tatum,
Wiggins ate his ass
Jaylen
up.
Brown was cooking Klay Thompson the first 3 games.
Yeah.
We was up 2-1. And then Golden State made the switch, put Wiggins on Tatum and Draymond on Jaylen Brown, and got in his head, started playing games, pushing him, kicking him down on the floor. Just let him. You can't let. I feel like you ain't got to worry about Golden State no more. Now you should just go straight beast mode on the rest of these teams right through the East right now. Because y'all been there the last 6 years. Y'all been in the playoffs. You know, when they were rookies, as a rookie, Jason Tatum made the conference finals. Jaylen Brown was in, his second year, I believe. You guys are seasoned now. The stage should not be too big for you.
So with that said, Rich, what is telling you that it's not? That's what.
Because
I
there have been
guess-
too many times that he wasn't the best player on the floor. There's
When?
been too many. Why
I'm
they
saying recently, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like so.
recently, last year, when you letting Jimmy Butler outplay you?
I don't want to hear about
Just with a
playoff
head
Jimmy.
fake? Me either.
I'm tired of playoff Jimmy. He's 35 years old.
But what I'm
Jimmy
saying
was
is like,
busting our ass, though. I ain't gonna lie.
right,
Okay.
and it was, and you know what? And he's not a better player than Tatum.
No, he's not.
So there's been too many times he's come up short for being the best player on the floor. Not putting all the blame on him as why we're losing, but like you agree with Rich that he needs to be the best player on the floor for
I
us to
definitely
cut
agree
down the
with that.
nets.
I definitely agree with that.
And he's come up short too many times. And to me, it's just it's been too many jump shots. Like we're gonna turn the ball. Just put it like this. No. The last few years, we just been talking about they turn the ball over too much. Him and Tatum, blah 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 blah. I mean, him and Brown.
Yep, I know.
They had 7 turnovers last night. 7. That's nothing.
That's nothing.
And they
And
fucking
you
lost
lost
by
by
a
20.
damn near. Man, come on.
But
man.
you said Tatum's come up short too many times, right?
As far as being the best player on the floor.
Right. So
And if
But what we're limiting it to is when we've lost, he wasn't the best player on the court, right? How about how many times he was the best player on the court when we've won? So the
it
losses
produced nothing though.
We've
If
been
y'all
to-
agreeing
we've
that
been
we
to
did,
the Eastern
if
Conference
that
Finals.
no, but you don't practice and do all this shit in the off season to go to the Eastern Conference Finals and that's it. So if y'all are agreeing that he needs to be the best player on the floor for us to win the championship, those little few games before you get to the championship, you're the best player on the floor and we lost. Those need to be wins.
All the wins we've had with Tatum, you're not looking at that versus. So let's say he has 50 games where he's been the best player on the court, and he's had 10 games when he wasn't the best player on the court, and we've lost those games. So you see what I'm saying? Y'all comparing, as an overzealous fan, we're saying the reason why we lost, Tatum wasn't the best player on the court. That's when we've lost.
JD,
What about you're talking about a player that hasn't been.
In all honesty,
He hasn't
You
lost
just
a lot in his
agreed-
career.
But you just agreed for us to win the championship, he needs to be the best player on the floor.
Totally agree.
So those little times that he was the best player on the floor didn't matter.
When you're winning the first round,
They don't
you was the
matter.
best player on the court. When you win in the second round, you've been in the best player. When you've won in the Eastern Conference Finals, you've been the best player on the court. When you lost in the finals, you wasn't. When you lost in the Eastern
And
Conference
that's the
Finals, you
whole.
wasn't.
That's the whole goal, though.
Right, but you still can't just say, you can't just take the few losses. What about
You
the
have to. If
majority
that's
wins?
the end.
No.
The end goal. The
I
end
get your
result.
point. I know what you said because you're a winner. You want to win. We're Boston fans. We need to win the chip, but we
But
can't
you just said that's the way we're going to win it. When he's the best player on the floor.
You just
Not
said you just said the
sometime.
primary word. Win it all.
Yeah, win it all.
But what we're losing is when he's won so much, but he hasn't won it all. So we're looking at the times when he hasn't won it all versus how many times he's won a lot. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I know. I understand all that.
Okay.
But you're not going to preseason and doing all that shit.
no, fuck preseason
Okay,
and regular
okay,
season.
exactly. So to be the best player on the floor at times, so you need to be the best player at the floor at the right times. So like I'm gonna give you an example. He sucked at Miami series. Derek White picked that shit up. Cause like if he didn't, we'd be sitting here dogging Tatum.
Oh, this
And Derek
season.
White-
Oh, this season. I was talking about last season.
Yeah.
Oh, facts.
And
facts.
we won.
Oh, he sucked
wasn't-
this whole
wasn't-
playoff.
And he wasn't the best player on the floor.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And you know what? That's okay. We still was able to pull those games
Yep,
out.
yep,
But
yep.
now as this shit's winding down to get into the conference finals
Yep.
and win
playing
the
a
Yep,
better
yep.
team.
He playing the better teams.
Yep.
He
It's
needs
time.
to be the
Yeah.
best player on the floor
Go-
for us
agree.
to win the championship.
I mean, he's
Not Derek
first
White.
team All NBA. Donovan Mitchell should not be outplaying you.
Facts.
Your first team. Did Donovan Mitchell make one of the
Tyler
All-NBA?
Hero neither.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Donovan-
or Derek White either. Like even
Donovan
your own
Mitchell.
teammate. Jalen Brown.
Well, Donovan
But
Mitchell.
no, Jalen, you
Jalen-
gotta kind of, cause Jalen, no, like it's gonna be some games you're gonna need Jalen.
Yeah. I always need Jalen.
But not
Yeah.
not Derek White.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But not
When
Derek.
Derek White, when he does
It should
what
be a
he does,
1-2 punch.
when
It should
Derek
be
White
the
does
third
what he
punch.
does and he has a
Right.
good game, that's extra.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
what
extra,
Donovan
right.
Mitchell did last night, Tatum's got to match that.
Agree. And all I'm saying is definitely we're gonna see when we win the next 3 and Tatum averaging 35. Y'all gonna be like, okay, we back at it, right? And then I look at us losing one more game probably in the Eastern Conference Finals.
But
And
JD,
I think we're gonna win 4-1 this series, 4-1 next series, and probably win the finals 4-1.
I mean,
something
honestly,
like that.
JD, this is the best way I could sum it up. The rest of this series against Cleveland, Tatum has to impose his will.
Agree.
He has to show that he's a top 5 player in the league.
Totally agree.
I mean, if you take Embiid, the Joker, I don't know who else. Giannis, Luka. Tatum has to play like a top 5 player in the league.
He has to.
These next 3 games or whatever it takes to beat Cleveland, he has to play like a top 5 player.
And hashtag Jason Tatum on this shit.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And since we're along the lines of the NBA playoffs, let's continue to talk about. So we have OKC versus Dallas, Denver versus Minnesota, and Indy versus the Knicks. Who do y'all have winning the East? Who do y'all have winning the West? Well, we can start with just those 2 series, right?
Well, as we see,
you think Boston's gonna beat Cleveland?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you think the Knicks gonna beat Indy?
I think it's personally after tonight. I think there's a chance this series will still go 7.
And do you?
I think it will go. I think
7's in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I think the Knicks gonna win in 7.
What you think?
For the Pacers?
Yeah,
Knicks
Pacers. You think it's going 6, 7?
I think the Knicks gonna beat them in the series.
And 7?
6.
I think Pacers gonna win in 7.
Okay.
You think the Pacers gonna win the game in New York?
Yep. I think it's just too many injuries, too much to overcome.
Well, if OG don't come back, yeah, I
the Pacers showed me something tonight. The Pacers. Actually, the Pacers could have very easily had game 2 in Madison Square Garden.
You know what the Knicks have? The reason why the Knicks win is just that underdog, overzealous grit, right?
Yeah.
And all of those players played 40-plus minutes.
Yeah.
And all of those players tend to find some type of way to get 10, 12, then 20 or 25.
Well, JD, I'll tell you like this.
That's going to run out.
If DiVincenzo ain't giving them 25, 30 points, they're not going to beat the Pacers. He's got to get them. He had, 35 tonight?
It's going to run out.
Yeah.
And they still lost.
I don't see that going on every night.
Either.
The Knicks,
I could see the Pacers winning the series.
The Knicks is going to run out of that shit.
I could see the Pacers still winning the series.
That hunger, those tip backs, and then you keep getting them offensive
I mean, because
rebounds.
technically Indiana could have very easily won game 2.
Easy. They could have won game 1.
Game 1.
You know what? It all starts with Tyrese. Because,
Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, because, you can't be going to New York having 6 points.
Yeah.
Jalen's giving you 30, and he's going to give you 30.
Yeah.
40.
And you need to be able to get at least...
And he didn't even hit the big shot tonight.
Yeah.
Even though he had a chance to go to the hoop, he went to the hoop and didn't go strong enough.
And then you're barely beating him, though. The Knicks are... They're unmanned.
They're scrapping.
They're scrapping.
They got OG.
Small lineup.
You're not going to keep getting those offensive rebounds. You're not going to keep getting those
You're
loose
bigger
balls.
than them.
You're not,
you should be dominating them inside. You're bigger than them. You got Siakam. Yeah, that's
Philly
true.
was bigger than them, too.
You're right. No, you're right about that.
With 2 better players. So okay, now let's just do that. You got Embiid and Maxey. Now, give me 2 players on thing that's better than Embiid and Maxey. You can't. You can't.
Where's that?
First of all, I'm going to start off with Jalen Brunson.
Huh?
On the Celtics?
On the Celtics.
No.
On the Knicks.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You
so
can't.
the Knicks.
Yeah.
Well, the Knicks play Philly.
Yeah. So give me 2 players on Indiana that are better than Embiid and Maxey.
Tyrese Halliburton.
He's better than Maxey?
Comparable.
And nobody else. They can cancel each other out at times, but Maxey's more consistent than Tyrese. So
comparable.
He's more consistent.
I would take Maxey.
I would score 6. He don't bullshit against
I would take Maxey
Dame
over
when Dame.
Halliburton.
Them niggas beat him without
Maxey's
Dame
a better
and fucking Giannis.
Maxey's
man.
a better scorer.
Hold on, listen to this roster. Milwaukee without Dame and Giannis beat them.
But listen to this. Tyrese
I'm just saying they have Dame. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. They have Dame. Portis got ejected. They have none of them in beat. You kidding me?
I'm telling you though.
All I'm saying is
watch that lineup though. I'm trying to tell you, like Tyrese and Halliburton would cancel each other out.
Tyrese
And
okay.
on that one leg, you could pick a pacer.
He was getting 50 on one leg. Miles Turner ain't doing that, man.
That's what I was gonna say, Miles Turner.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, yo, Embiid. Yo.
Well, JD, what do you think about the Western Conference? I think
So OKC Dallas is 1-1. What you think about OKC and Dallas?
it's going 7.
And who you got winning that?
I like OKC to win this.
I like OKC to win that.
I think y'all crazier than the mug.
You think
I
Dallas?
think Dallas is going.
I like OKC to
Dallas
win
is
this.
about to do something to them young boys.
You know
man.
why? I'm gonna tell you why. Go ahead though. But I'm gonna tell you why I think OKC's.
No, that was my point. Like I just really think that Dallas, like with Kyrie,
They're a little better defensively than. Do you watch their games? The offense. Luka just dribbled around. Everybody stands around until Luka. If he can't get a shot off, he throw it to somebody.
I hate
That
that.
offense is terrible. I
I
don't
hate
even like
that about-
watching them. Oh my
It's almost
god!
it's almost as
I
worse
like
as Boston.
Luka.
Boston.
Yeah,
It's almost worse
I
as-
like Luka.
But-
Like you shouldn't be doing Kyrie like that. Like Kyrie.
But
got
I'm gonna tell you
game.
like
He's a
this.
baller.
Kyrie should have the ball.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you like this: with Luka being a little hampered, and Luka is a monster. My gosh, right? But either way,
Who's
I'ma say
sticking
it like
shy
this.
on that team?
Though the big boys down there in Dallas, I think that's what's gonna win it. Like Lively, PJ Washington, who they picked up out of
Chet's
Charlotte.
better than all of them.
I'm not saying he ain't, but I'm trying to tell you like this:
Who's
I
better?
think Dallas.
Chet.
I think Dallas might win the next 3 games.
Really?
No,
Yo, I think
this
Dallas-
is the thing. This is the thing. If Tim Hardaway Jr. don't average 15 to 17 a game,
They need him. Yeah.
they're not gonna win it. Like,
yeah.
with they're starting. Golden State. OKC has a better bench than them.
Yes.
And then honestly, they don't have no one in OKC can stick Luka.
Right.
Pretty much nor Kyrie.
Right.
But Dallas defensively is fucking terrible.
Right.
No
So
one's sticking
Dort,
No one can
Giddey,
stick
you got
Shea.
Williams.
Right. That Williams.
Yeah.
And then
All those
Giddey.
boys.
Yeah. So you just need Giddey to get at least 15, like 14 to 18 a game, and that series can be different.
But if you look at that OKC team, who do you think you can rely on? Like, so if you look at Dallas, you already know.
You
like,
can rely on Shea.
and then keep
And
going.
Chet gonna get his little
What
15
about
a game.
Jalen? What about the
And
kid Jalen?
Yeah,
I don't-
Jalen Williams, like
I don't-
he
you-
gets
you-
his.
I'm just saying, like, we're talking about playoffs now, second round.
Yeah.
We're talking about, like,
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
think that light's going to get a little bright on them? You don't think that each
I don't
shot's
think
going to start
Lively and
tightening
them-
up a little bit? Like, PJ
They got home.
Washington.
They got home court
Lively-
advantage. Well, not anymore.
Not
'cause they
anymore.
tied it, yeah.
Not anymore. And
But
I'm
nobody, like Dallas's D don't put no fear in anybody.
I agree with that too. OKC is solid with D, but I just don't think that OKC have enough yet. I just think that at some point
They're
them
young.
young boys, at
They're
some point
young.
them young boys gonna, when you miss 2 or 3 shots and you start hearing that crowd, you start
But
hearing that little.
At the same time,
I think that Dallas is they're a little bit more. You see Kyrie sitting over there looking at the
But-
crowd like, yeah, like listen,
You know-
keep it coming. Like that's a different breed. Like I think that Dallas is just a
But
different.
Kyrie's been there before.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm a big believer though in when you don't know no better, that
You don't
shit
do
works
better.
out for you.
It
Like,
worked
you
out for
don't
the
think-
first round.
You don't think you're not out there thinking too much.
Yeah.
It's just like when you see like a young dude playing college basketball and he's a freshman and you go out there and he's balling. He balled out the whole tournament. You're like, because he don't know any better.
He don't
He's just
know
out
any
there
better.
doing his
How
thing.
long, Reese? Though, right? Like how long?
They're professionals
No,
now.
that's what I was gonna say. So now we're
so
talking
it's
about
different.
We're talking about NBA and we're talking about the second round.
College
right?
basketball is one and done.
So listen,
The
you
NBA is
just
a series.
you just lost the home court advantage, right? Dallas just came into your house and beat the crap out of you. Do you know what those newspaper clippers are saying? Do you know what your boys are saying? Do you know what now you Luke Dort, now you're Jay Williams, like now you're Chet Holmgren, and now it's starting to say, okay, you didn't win.
So
Rookie of the
basically,
Year.
you're picking Dallas on experience.
I'm thinking Dallas is just a better overall team now after those acquisitions. That I think PJ Washington's going to be. I just think that right now with Luka and Kyrie,
He's hobbling.
and then he might even miss the next game. But I still think that with Tim Hardaway Jr., I just think that Dallas has the more experience. They have a better coach that can get them more prepared for the second round. Like, so if this is the first
So
round, if this is a regular,
how many games you think it's going?
I think 6. I think Dallas probably wins in 6 if they don't win the next 3. I think they might lose 1.
I think they're gonna lose the next one.
Oh, they're going back to Dallas.
How do you
They
feel
have
about
nobody to cover Shy.
How do you feel about Denver
no one.
and
Denver,
after
Minnesota.
tonight? After tonight, Denver.
So tonight is 2-1. Let's just double check the
They
score. They
cranked
was
them.
up 20 in the
No,
fourth
they
quarter.
won. They won by over 20 points.
Oh yeah. So Denver, I see Denver. Oh, that Minnesota, that boy. I still got Denver. I got Denver in 7.
Oh, do you really? Okay.
I got Denver in 7.
That's a legit.
I got Denver in
That's
7.
legit.
What you think? You let it out now.
I got
Come on.
Minnesota in 6.
Come on, man. How?
Easy. Minnesota wins the next games 3-1. I'm just saying. They're not losing 2 in a row at home.
I think they get smoked at home.
They're not losing 2 in a row at home. Now with them losing this big, they're gonna come out a little more motivated.
Yeah.
For game
They
4.
let their guards down a little tonight. Up 2-0.
At the end of the season, they beat Denver 3 times in a row. They beat them in the regular season at the end of the season. Then they beat them the first 2 in the playoffs. So I think they're gonna come out a little more motivated after losing by 2. Now if Denver beat them by 1 or 2 or less than 5 or less, I think it would be different. But by them getting their ass beat, they're gonna come out hungry, man.
I think it's the opposite. I think that you came home, you're in Minnesota.
Who did whatever they did?
So, JD,
tonight?
who you have in the finals? Celtics, of course, and who else?
I still got Celtics Denver.
Oh, you really?
I
Okay,
really do.
all right.
I
So,
still think. You know what? My sleeper is Dallas, though, man. I think Dallas. Denver ends up going 7 with Minnesota. Dallas might be able to get Denver. I think it's going to be Dallas, Denver, and the
I
Western
don't think
Conference.
Dallas can get Denver. I don't
It's
of the athletes. Like, okay, so Michael Porter and them, I think can match with Washington and them dudes, and then they have no one to stick to Joker.
But if Denver struggles
No one.
with Minnesota, they go 7. I think that the layout of how to beat Denver.
I think Minnesota.
If Denver wins in 6, then Denver's going to the finals. If Denver ends up beating them in 7, which I think is going to go 7, I think Dallas got a good shot at beating. I think Dallas, Denver, and the Western Conference Finals. I think Boston, Indiana, and
I got OKC, Minnesota in the Western Conference Finals.
who you got?
in the Western Conference,
Yeah.
right now, I got Minnesota and Oklahoma also.
Ooh, man, I love this shit. I want y'all boys, y'all gotta stay tuned because this is just part 1 of. I think we got about 6 or 7 more of these. We're gonna do one again in a half hour now. Fuck with y'all. Listen, man. Yo, stay tuned, man. Like I said, man, this is just us getting back on. Hopefully y'all kicked it with us, man. This is just a quick podcast about our little sports knowledge, what we think, what we feel. Don't put nothing on DraftKings based off of their decisions.
Bet on yourself.
Yeah, bet on yourself.
Javante.
Don't be blaming me for losing your paycheck.
Javante Porter.
Yo, but again, man, thanks for tuning in, the family, man. We love it, man. Again, this is just our perspectives, man. I just love kicking it with my family, my friends, man. Stay tuned. We're going to have a part 2. Probably give it to y'all next week, man. Hopefully we have Skizzo Blizzo in the house, man. But either way, man, y'all stay tuned, man. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all could say a little piece to the people, how they can reach
Good
y'all.
night. Have a good one. And just wait for the next one. That's all I can say. Just wait for the next one. I think it's going to be a little more entertaining because the series pick up and more games to be won and lost by whatever teams.
And more intense.
Yeah, you're going to have a little bit more argumentative things going on because some of the things I said, I wrote it down.
And I keep receipts.
So, and if I didn't write it down, I'm just going to play this back and write it down after. So listen, man. Yo, Masculine Cover Podcast on everything. YouTube, check out the live channel. Master covered on all platforms. JAYDFENC. J Defense. Check us out. Peace. Where the hell is my? There she is.